Well, it was a good run. I've done my best this year to just not discuss Ottawa's tire fire. You know, the tire fire, the one that's been going on for years. And this year it looked like we were going through what was a pretty quiet year for the tire fire. We were kind of ignoring it, and it'll get better. Well, they fired their CEO after almost 2 months. Didn't quite last 2 months. He was named January 10th. They're like, here he is. Now March 4th. Yeah, he's gone. Nah, that's it. He's gone. So they fired Jim Little for conduct inconsistent with core values of the team and the National Hockey League. So I don't know. Was he gambling on the team? Did did he go out for a night on the town and kind of have an experience like the movie The Hangover? I don't know. All I know is that less than 2 months after they hired a CEO who came out publicly and said, "Yeah, we got to fix the relationship that this team has with this city," he's gone. Which means somebody didn't vet him very well or something happened that was unforeseen. But wow, the Ottawa Senators, once again today, they have stolen back the tire fire mantle and reminded us that dysfunction, Ottawa's got that covered. And while the product on the ice, I believe, will get better next year, I just wonder, like, how long can this off ice stuff? Anyways, we'll see. They're supposed to name a new one, so we'll see who the next one is. And no, I don't want it. So before anybody says it in the comment section, I don't want it. No thanks. No, I'm good. Thank you very much. Um, so news that isn't injury related. Hey, yay! So coming out of the GM meetings, we always get some interesting stuff here. Cap is projected for next season to be between 84 and 88.2 million dollars, which would be an increase of 2.5 to 6.7 million dollars. There are teams in the NHL right now saying, "Oh, please God, let it be 6.7 million." I'm speaking of Vancouver, Toronto, and potentially Arizona. Arizona has $80 million in salary cap eaten up for next year already, according to Cap Friendly. So that kind of increase would really get some general managers off the hook. It would cause an increase in trades this summer. It would allow for some really fun moves to be made, and for teams that we think right now of as being cap strapped, you give them 6.7 million extra dollars, they'll just spend it. Like, all right, there you go. It's so weird to me, and it's something in the NHL that I think, honestly, I think it's just bizarre that it's like, okay, you are allowed to spend $81.5 million. Okay, so we're spending $81.5 million. Well, no, that's the upper end of your budget. Just make sure you budget it right and make sure you're smart and leave yourself some leeway. So spend $81.5 million. No, see, if you don't have leeway, anyways, so they'll just all go to 88 million, and the players will love that because that means large raises for everybody. So the other part that's come out with this too is Bill Daly has revealed that they're discussing for the next collective bargaining agreement, negotiating it where multiple years worth of salary cap would be known ahead of time. So right now we're looking at the salary cap for next year. We would instead be looking at the salary cap for 2 years down the road, which would allow stability and planning and general managers to know just how much money they can overspend that coming year and the year after that. Like, it could really help out general managers, and it gives the NHLPA a better idea of the direction of the league as well. I think it's a good idea, and hopefully they implement that. Last night, Sidney Crosby reached his 800th assist in the first win that Pittsburgh had in 7 games. So congratulations to Sidney Crosby on that milestone. He has reached a lot of milestones. 800 assists is just the most recent one. And, of course, the one that he wants to achieve is that 4th Stanley Cup. So we'll see how things go for him this spring and whether or not they can make a run in the playoffs after being kind of embarrassed last year in the playoffs. Also, news of an NHL nature. So the fun little puck thing they're going to do where they're going to do all the player tracking and they're going to have the electronics in the puck. Yeah, that's debuting in the playoffs. And it's going to be for all series, starting with game 1 in every series. And we'll see how that goes. We'll see how the player tracking works as well. And how popular that is. Because it doesn't sound like something that's going to be cheap. So you have to make sure it's value added. You have to make sure that if you're bringing all this technology in, that it's going to make you some money. So I'm guessing that it will, because, and I'm sure people are typing right now, well, all the gambling sites want it. Right. So in their bid to partner up with all these gambling sites and make them happy, this is a way to make sure that they're happy, because all the in-game gambling is going to go through the roof. I highly recommend, if you have any kind of a gambling problem, not getting the apps. Can't recommend it enough. One thing that I always get emails for, I get emails regularly from different gambling sites like, hey, can you advertise it? No. No. Nuh-uh. No. And I have a personal reason for that. I've witnessed gambling destroying families in my own personal life. So gambling, it's fine to do every now and then. Every now and then I'll go play a Keno ticket. Every now and then I'll see that the max million prize is like $50 million, and I'll say to Yvonne, I'll say, can I have $50 million? And she'll say, of course you can. And so I go and I buy a ticket. But there are people that it's a compulsion, and they can't stop. And so I can't promote apps, and I can't promote websites that I know will feed into that, because I know there are people who do it just for fun, and that's great. But I again, right? So it's a slippery slope, and I don't want to have anything to do with it. So I stay out of the whole gambling thing. Just in case anybody ever wonders, why doesn't he ever advertise? He'd probably get money yeah, I probably would, and I'm not going to do it. Montreal. So going on to Montreal news, Bergevin. Mark Bergevin's come out and said, I'm not going to fire Claude Julien. He's sticking around next year. And now there's articles saying, well, if Montreal doesn't make the playoffs next year, they could both be in trouble. Oh, I don't know if Montreal fans are going to like the sound of that. So we're going to leave. And Bergevin's come out and said, yeah, no, everything's fine. The team's pretty good. We've got all these good young players. No, everything's fine. I'm going to go out and try to add somebody in the offseason, but in general, things are going pretty well. Yep. So remember that whole Sebastian Aho signing, and there were some cynics that said the only reason that he was putting that money in on Aho was just to distract from the fact that he hadn't been able to improve the team's offense. Is he gonna do it again? Is he gonna go throw another offer sheet at somebody? I wouldn't necessarily be surprised. And I don't know who. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I would not be surprised. The desperation in Montreal to improve is going to show up, I think, this summer. That there was some of that last summer with the Aho offer sheet, but I do think we're going to see some more of that this summer, because Bergevin has to know he's on the hot seat, right? He has to. He can't not know, right? He can't be the only person in the world that doesn't know that Montreal expects a winner. So we'll see. Now, on to news that I had hoped we could avoid talking about for as long as possible, and apparently we're at the stage where we have to. So the coronavirus is everywhere. And, I'll say the same thing that I said on the Entertainment Guy channel about it the other day. I think there's just some common sense things we can do in order to prevent getting it, but there's no 100% certain way to avoid it. I don't often get flus, so I'm concerned but not panicked, and I'm not changing any of my travel plans. 11 days from today we're going to Vegas. I'm not planning on changing that. We have plans in August to go to Vegas and then go to Disneyland for a trip. I have no plans on canceling, changing any of those plans, even though those involve being around a lot of people. Right? So the league, the NHL, has said we're kind of playing it by ear, but also Gary Bettman revealed that league employees are barred from business travel right now outside North America. So you've got to keep your business travel within North America. And if you travel to an area that's been affected by the coronavirus, and I'm guessing they mean on personal vacations, you will be quarantined for 2 weeks. Now, I don't know necessarily if they have testing kits and all this. I don't know how far this goes for the NHL, but the NHL and other major leagues in North America have been in contact with the CDC and with Health Canada as well on this side of the border. I know that the NHL and the NBA would be, Major League Baseball as well, because you have the Toronto Blue Jays, right? So it is in the conversation, it is in the background, and around the world there have been cancellations of certain events. One event that is potentially under threat is the IIHF World Hockey Championship men's tournament. They've already canceled some tournaments, the IIHF, and they could very well say that's it. The World Championships this year are in Switzerland, and there is some uncertainty as to whether or not we're going to have a World Championship in men's hockey. And there's some talk as well about how the Olympics are supposed to be in Tokyo, but if Tokyo can't get everything under control, then they may not have the Olympics either this summer. It could be a tough year. One thing that they've talked about that has been done elsewhere is potentially playing hockey games in empty arenas. So you have the players go out on the ice and they play the game, but there's nobody in the arena because, again, large groups of people, that is the most dangerous situation you could be in, where one person could be infected and they could infect 10, 15 people in the arena in one night. So this is a developing story. Again, I didn't know how long it would take before it actually showed up on the main hockey sports sites, but it's here, and so it's worth throwing into this video. And the funny thing is, I understand people say, oh, it's overblown and it's a panic. Well, not really. I don't think it's overblown to say there's a brand new virus out there we don't know enough about. And so we're trying to make sure we slow the spread of it and work on, trying to make it so that we understand it. So that's how I see it. I'm not panicked. Like I said, we're still going to Vegas. I'm not worried about it. We're flying out of Seattle. Seattle's had cases. But again, there's only so much you can do, and going about your daily life is important too. All right, so with that news aside, I thought this was newsworthy out of Washington. Michael Kempny is a healthy scratch tonight. First time this year. And that is odd. How it kind of feels like on the Washington blue line that Radko Gudas has taken his spot as that solid defenseman who puts up good defensive numbers. And yeah, Kempny now is a healthy scratch. If the Capitals at some point decide, well, Kempny's, out of our plans now, we have other plans with our blue line, he will be an in-demand player. So we'll see if it's just the one game, if he ends up right back in the lineup next game, or what happens. But interesting news out of Washington there. And so you guys are all caught up. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.